Hi everyone, this will be part 19 of the Frogger mini-series, and in this video we're going to be working in the Foliage tool to add some more detail to our map. Let's not waste any time and just jump right into it. Alright, so last we left off, we were putting some details on the game timer, but now we want to add some details to the map. So let's actually open up our browser, and rather than modeling all the foliage, we can make use of Fab. Which is Unreal Engine's new marketplace thing. So if you come to fab.com, under product types, there's a nature and plants. And then you got several filter types. You can just come to price, check the box for free. These will be all the available free assets that you can use. I recommend grabbing more than one, so you have a couple different foliage types. Some of the packs have multiple plants in them, and those will work perfectly. Because the foliage tool is really good at, you basically add a group of meshes, and it can add those meshes with a paintbrush at whatever scale and density you choose, which is really, really neat. So pick whichever ones you want, and then select the add to project, or add to your content drawer. And then you'll need to come to your Epic Marketplace, which, let me get mine open. So open the Epic Games launcher, come to your library, scroll down at the bottom, and you'll have all these different content packs. Just find the one you want to use. Mine's going to be the plant pack. You can hover over the eye just to make sure it's compatible with your engine version. At the time of recording, I believe 5.6 is the latest. Then you just select add to project, find your project, and add it. So with that done, we can come back to our world, and you'll notice I have the OWD plants pack. I can go under meshes, and then I can see all the various meshes that they have, as well as a variation folder, which is perfect. So let's go in from selection mode to the foliage mode. And then we basically need to drag some foliage here. Just to show you what it's doing, let's just pick one. And let's do maybe this one, maybe here. Which one do I like, actually? Let's do this one. Alright, so with the foliage selected, I can basically, with my paintbrush, come in, click, and you can see it adds, some of that foliage type with those whatever settings you choose. Now, you can increase your brush size to do a bigger area. You can do a bigger paint density. Switch this back to 512. So if I switch the paint density to 1, it'll basically paint more of the plants. If I lower that, obviously it would do less. But then you also have a per static mesh settings. If you click on the actual mesh, you can adjust things like the density here. You can set the scale factor. So if I bump this 3 to 5, you can add a Z offset, uncheck the align to normal. So if you're on an embankment, it'll still put the mesh vertical rather than slanted. A couple different options there. So this is basically what we're going to use to kind of paint our world. But this is kind of cool because we're only doing it with one. So what we can do is we can, let's see, this is plant number 6. So we can grab maybe this one, this one, this one. I think that's good starting off. We'll just drag these over here. And then if we click and go, you kind of see it. You can see they're all kind of small because it didn't adjust the scale. But let's do some changes on each of the ones. So for this one, I'll set the density to be half for the mist color. And then for the scale, I'll do 3 to 5 like I did before. This one, I'll leave it 100%. I'll do 3 to 5. And this one right here, I'll do half. So there's more green than there is yellow. Kind of like that. And if the density's too much, you can change it on the global settings. So if we bump this down over here, or increase the brush size a bit. And then if the density is still too much, we can, of course, bump this here. We'll go there. And then instead of maybe 100, we can actually maybe do, let's try 80 for that. And we'll try 40. And let's bump this to 80. And we'll do 40. Maybe that gives you a different style. But all right, let's go ahead and increase our brush size. I'm gonna maybe do something right around there. I think it's still probably too much, so I'm going to try to lower this even more. So let's do 10, and we'll do 30. And we'll do 10, and we'll do 30. That looks a lot better. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna just basically zoom up, and I'm gonna paint kind of all around the map here. You don't have to be too precise because we can come behind it and erase some of this as well. Undo some of that. And we'll just kind of paint through them here. And that looks all right. And then I think what we'll do is let's increase the paint density here. Actually, we should probably just paint everywhere and then just erase where we need. It would probably be the smarter way to do it. All right, so we can come to our eraser tool, adjust our brush size, and I'm gonna get rid of some of this embankment stuff here, because maybe I don't like that. And if you have some plant types like reeds, you can put those in the water. I think that'll probably look a lot nicer. Alright, go here. Okay, so then where we have our frogs, we can basically just erase. Kind of like so. And I think maybe our frogs are a bit too close together. We'll try to make it work. But what we can do, let's go back to paint and let's just select one of them. So we'll uncheck the other ones. And I'm going to increase the density to be 100. And I'm going to use a smaller brush size and just sort of paint in these barriers, kind of like so. And what we'll do is there's an option when you're painting, depending on your static mesh, where you can actually add collision. Right now I'm doing no collision presets because the static mesh didn't come with collision. If yours does, you can use that and they can just natively block the player from jumping into them. But because the ones I have right here don't have collision, we'll just simulate that using a trigger box. And then I will erase this one right here. And maybe that one if I can get it. Why can't I get that one? Alright, that one's just stuck. I don't know why, but we can probably get rid of some of these. I'm going to increase my brush size. Oh, I know why. Bet you the water's blocking it. Let's go to my select tool. Can I just click on them? Do it the old-fashioned way. Of course, I could have checked the box, or unchecked the box for align to normal, and that would have fixed that as well. Because I don't want to put them straight up and down. Which is probably what I should have done. But alright, I think that is good enough for this side. Let's finish out over here, and let's do a different plant. So Maybe we do... thinking one of these over here, which something that's gonna fill. I think we do this one. Let's do these two here, and then we'll add some of this as well. Actually, let's do these two, and then we'll add in something real skinny. Whoops. So we'll do this one, and this one. So we'll drag that into our foliage palette. We're gonna uncheck, let's see, that one, uncheck that one. So for this one, I want to scale it maybe 5 to 8, because that's a small static mesh. And we could just see what that looks like real quick. Yeah, I think that's what I was going for. All right, and then for this one, we probably only want to paint. I wonder if I should use the same numbers. Let's try 10. Actually, let's try 30 for that one. And then 10 for that one. And we'll do 50 for this one. And 30 for this one. And we'll increase our brush size so we get that sort of look there. And I think that's going to work just fine. So we'll just kind of zoom up and do a little bit of painting here. Actually, I'll probably speed this part up because this is going to be a little boring. Alright, so I think that looks a little bit more organic. So all we did is basically painted in our brush, and then I used the erase tool with a specific erase density to kind of add in some patchy spots, which I think looks a little bit more organic. Now if we are to move over here, we can see, you know, this will be a natural block for the player, so the player won't want to move all the way back here, but you'll notice it doesn't actually block them. So we gotta kind of fix that. I mean, maybe you can leave it open, just let them walk out into the ocean, I guess. Let me see if I can get to the other side to see what it looks like in the camera. I'm not going to be able to. No. Dang it. Alright, let's try. If this doesn't work, I have an idea. Nope, I can get over. I lied. I'm not going to make it. Nope, I made it. Alright, so let me go over here. I think this map is probably too big, if I'm being honest. But that will act as a natural barrier for the player, so they'll know not to go over there. And then kind of same thing over here. Let me see if I can actually hitch a ride. Skip that one and go to this one. I missed. Dang it. But alright. Actually, I should have just done this to begin with. So when the player gets over to this side, they'll kind of see like the natural formations. And we could add a little bit more. Maybe on the wind boxes, we can add like fireflies that glow. So it lets the player know that they're going there as well. So maybe we'll do that in a later video. But one thing we can do is we can come out of the foliage mode and we can add in a trigger box. So let's do, oops, let me go right here. add in a trigger box, and then with the trigger box selected, you can come to physics, and the default physics collision preset is trigger, which overlaps everything. We could set this to block all, and then place this where we don't want the player to go. So let's go back to general, and then I'm going to reset the location. And then I am going to scale it on the Y and on the X and on the Z. So we're basically just going to create this kind of barrier. Which obviously that's probably too large. Maybe right there. We can increase it on the X as well. It doesn't hurt anything. And then we just drag it back a bit. So maybe like right around there. That way the player can get somewhat in the grass. And then we can just simply hold Alt to duplicate it. Place this like right here. And then we will scale it in the Y. Drag this back here. Like so. And actually we can overlap box colliders, that's fine. And this one we probably want a little bit in the water so they don't kind of make it on, because we want the water to kill them if they jump over there. So if they jump, they'll hit the wall, as it were, and they'll fall down and hit the water. Alright, so that's that. Then we can hold Alt, drag off a Y direction to duplicate this. And we'll just add this one back, maybe right around here. And maybe we'll let him go in the weeds a little bit. So I think that's alright. Alright, and then what we can do is hold Alt again, drag off here, and then we just need to adjust the Y direction to be, actually let's make the X smaller. I'm going to push this out into the water. So maybe right around here. The Y and just button it up. I think that looks good. This one's a little trickier because obviously we're going to add one on this side, but then we also have to add small ones in between. So we can hold Alt, drag one here. We got to make the Y pretty narrow. That's going to be these little slots, so if the player mistimes the jump, it's not going to end well for him. I think this one we can probably push over a little bit more. And we'll make this one pretty skinny. Alright, but I think that looks good. And then if we just duplicate this, we can also make them act as sort of like little catchers. The player will just kind of glance off of them. Like so. Alright, then we can kind of play and test these out. So if I come over here, I should get stopped. You can see I can't go over, so that's working well. And then if I go, we can try the left one real quick, and then I'll just move my player object because I think that'll be easier. You can see I get over a little bit, and then I hit the wall right there, which is good. And then if we were to cheat, I just move myself over here. I will just move the item right in front of the trigger box. That way I don't overlap it. So if we start, I can't get over, so I basically have to time the jump just right where I'll land kind of in the slot. And that's kind of akin to the original too, because I think if you land in the grass in the original arcade one, you get eaten by an alligator or something. So the player jumps in, it'll flip over here, start the win condition, increase the score, spawn the player back here, and then they're good to go. But alright, good people, we'll cut it here. In the next one, we'll work on the title screen. But as always, thanks for watching, consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.